culture of gifting in Nigeria. I want you, Steve, to also respond to my question or remark. He said it to me personally, but I'm sure it's meant to be shared with you because it speaks to what you have been saying. He says that Nigeria is a very big country with more than 200 ethnic groups. Isn't there any clash of cultures, and is there any common cultural norms among all this? So, Steve, if you can respond to that, and then also share with us the culture of gifting in Nigeria, and then I will hand over to Dean to lead the quiz, and I'll watch the responses from our colleagues on the group. Over to you, Steve. Welcome back.
Okay, thank you, Sam. As far as, let us first of all define how big Nigeria really is. Now, as far as space size,
Yeah.
Nigeria, the size of Nigeria probably maybe like a little more than half of South Africa.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But the population is more than 200 million.
Mm.
So you can fly from Lagos, which is by this ocean, to the farthest part of Nigeria, and it would just be 1 hour flight or maximum 1 hour 30 minutes.
Let's say you're flying from Lagos to Abuja, for example.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Abuja is in the middle part of the country, but you can still fly the same 1 hour from Lagos to Maiduguri or Sokoto, depending on the height the plane is traveling on. So as far as how big Nigeria really is, I don't see it as such a huge country. It's not even the biggest in West Africa. It's not even the second biggest in West Africa. But what we have is this huge, large population of more than 200 million people. Now, do we have clash of culture? Yes, in several ways, because of our value systems. Like I said at the beginning, some tribes are more aggressive than some others. Aggressive in business, aggressive in relationships. So some of these ways you have those clashes. But then we also have a lot of commonalities because there isn't, unless from being located at different parts of countries like, so, say, Cape Town or Joburg. But all of the close communities or tribes cut across each other either by marriage or by long-term relationships. So a little bit of here, a little bit of this here. But one thing, the way we cursing, it's expected that you always give preference to elders. It doesn't matter the tribe. You're not supposed to speak in harsh words to your parents. The marriage process is much close together, but the details of what you do when you arrive at the marriage home, because the man has to go seek the hand of the lady. So whatever it is that tribe requires from you as bride price, will be hugely different from what some others would require from it for some other part of the country.
Mm.
So these are the where the differences come from. So, but where you have clashes is if you are, say, for example, you are a Yoruba and you want to go live among the Igbos, it is not expected that you are going to want to lord over the Igbos within their own area, applying your own lifestyle of a Yoruba person. Then there will be clash.
Mm.
And that's the clash that Igbo people always have. Whether they come to Yoruba or they go to the Hausa because they still want to act like an Igbo man.
Mm.
And I believe they do that in South Africa too.
Mm.
Okay. But these are where you have clashes. Outside of that, you will not have clashes.
Steve, I have a question since we're talking about the different groups. If I can jump in for just a quick question for you. What group are you identified with? How do you identify? Are you Hausa, Fulani, Yoruba, Igbo, or just Nigerian first?
Personally, Nigerian first. Nigerian first, now, tomorrow, and always.
Yeah.
But I am from among what we call the minority groups. I am an Edo man, that is from Benin. Okay. From the great Benin Empire. That's where I'm from. But as far as Nigeria is concerned, we are a minority. So when the big elephants push around, we just stay out of their way.
It's smart. Sounds like a smart strategy.
Yeah, because you don't have the strength to compete at the same level.
Right.
So the best thing is that you are ready to work with everyone.
Beautiful. Steve, can you address the issue, the gifting culture, and then allow Dean to engage with our quiz respondents, and you can keep on interjecting. Dean, if we don't cover all the questions, I think it's okay for today, right?
Oh yes, yeah, and
Yeah.
I think we can move quickly and do that. Yes,
Okay.
no problem.
Okay, beautiful. Steve, gifting.
Okay, like I said, you see, what misconception that outsiders have of Nigeria that it is a corrupt country. Yes, we are corrupt, but it was not always like that. But the majority, the number of people who are corrupt are in the minority, only that seriously corrupt. Now, that comes into definition because people mistake gift giving and corruption. Corruption is when I demand from you to compensate me for doing a job that I should normally do. That is one aspect of corruption. Then second aspect of corruption is actually could be classified as stealing, using my position to manipulate the books to make myself rich. But then, how the gift aspect differs, it is expected across Nigeria, and I'm sure much of Africa, that when you are visiting me, you come with a gift. If I'm visiting you, I will come with a gift. Now, if you are an expatriate and you come to Nigeria, you want to do business, and I say, okay, let's go visit the local chief. You can't go to the chief palace empty with open arms. You must go with something to tell the chief, oh, we are here to see you and recognize you because you are the head of the community and we are going to be doing business here. As a sign of our positive relationship, please have this. So that is not in Africa or not in Nigeria, that's not corruption. Now, it's typical in Nigeria that at Christmas, unlike US, where gift sharing is mostly within family or immediate family at Christmas. If you are doing business in Nigeria, all your stakeholders, including government personnel, whom you relate with at one point or another during the year, you may have to send them a basket of mixed gifts, which we refer to as hampers. It took us a while to convince Motorola that this is part of our culture. And then also the value. At the time, Motorola would say, oh, you cannot give more than $25 worth of item. We said, no, it would depend on the rank. I can't go to the Oba of Lagos and give him a $25 worth of item. That's an insult. So now, I recall at the time they changed the policy for Nigeria and the Middle East because we had the same problem. So gift giving, so yes, some people have abused this and taken it too far, that you're going through immigration, you're going through customs, you go through somebody's always expecting you to say, take this, thank you. You don't have to. But if you're going to stay and be doing business in Nigeria, you're going to get used to gift giving. And you will also be giving too.
Beautiful. Thanks, Steve. That's very helpful. I think that's common among so many African cultures. Yeah, thank you for bringing that up and also clarifying some misconceptions around the Nigerian culture. It's a lot of work to be done to understand it to details. And I would like to say, Steve, you are 100% right. Many of us are introduced to Nigeria through the Nollywood and the Kannywood movies. And I'm glad today you clarify that when you watch those movies, it's always very interesting to know which part of tribe or region of Nigeria they're coming from, because they might be communicating a regional culture and you think that's all Nigerians. That's how all Nigerians are. That's very educational. I think, Did you'll agree with me that this is the type of stuff you may not even get when you do your research because you're not researching movies, do you? Dean?
I'll be available to support Dean.
Yeah. Yeah, beautiful. Great. Then let's let's move on to quizzes. And Steve, you're welcome to interject because this is the fun part of our Bridging Cultures show. Over to you, Dean.
Well, thank you, Sam. Thank you, Steve. You've given us so much good information. I am sure that all of our guests today will get 100% A++ on all of these questions because we've discussed some of these already. So thank you for that. We have 5 questions, and I will read the questions. And each question, there are 4 possible answers, multiple choice answers. And I'll read the multiple choice answers as well. And then what I would like to do is have our guests tell us what they think the correct answer is. A, B, C, or D.
Then they will all be posting it into the WhatsApp group here. So there's no one in the studio, although we could invite somebody. Sylvia was struggling to log into the public platform. I asked her if she wants to come into the studio. Otherwise, we'll just see what answers they are giving in the WhatsApp group.
Terrific. Okay. We'll take a look
But
there and
obviously,
see.
Sylvia joined. It will be good to engage with her because I know during her corporate years, she used to go and do work in Nigeria. So it will be quite interesting to hear her own perspective based on her experience. Over to you, Dean. Sorry.
Okay, great. Well, with that in mind, I'm going to read the first question now. And this has to do with some of the discussion we've already had. So there are 4 major ethnic groups in Nigeria. Each one can be different, each with their own major language and traditions. So what you need to do is match the group with their approximate geographic location within the country. Are they in the north? Are they in the southwest? Are they mainly in the southeast or in the central? And the groups are the Yoruba, A, the Igbo, B, the Fulani, C, and the Hausa, D. So are they mainly in the north, the southwest, the southeast, or central? Let's do the first one. Yoruba. North, southwest, southeast, or central?
Yeah, I hope they do respond. Otherwise, we may just actually ask Steve to paint the region. But let's give them a few minutes to look at that. So you are basically saying that geography tends to be defining the type of ethnic groups in Nigeria. And then I'm very interested to hear from Steve what led to these groupings of these ethnic groups into this geography. Was it by design? Was it by wars? What was happening?
And let's take a look at the answers first. And these geographic areas, it's approximate because these lines do blur each other. So mainly, but not only, Yoruba in mainly the north, and Yoruba mainly in the southwest, Igbo mainly in the southeast, Fulani.
Just hold it there, Dean. Some few answers coming through.
Okay.
Tosi say, Tosi, please clarify which do you think is lying in the southwest? You have to match all the 4 of them. Lebong as well, she says southwest. I think they are referring to Yoruba. I think it makes sense, right?
Yes, and that would be the correct answer.
Because then you ask them to first deal with Yoruba. So they all have got it right. They say southwest. That is Tosi, Grace, Liborang, and Mai. They all say southwest.
And how about Igbo? B, the next one. What general geographic area would that be?
Let me just welcome Sylvia. Just one moment. Oh, Sylvia, welcome.
Oh, thank you. I was trying my best and thinking that I won't be able to, but I think I might have missed the first question, but I was just trying to get onto this. Yes.
We are still on the first question. You need to tell us where the Igbos, which geographic position are they in the country? We're still on that one.
Oh, okay.
You are the only one in the studio, so we can engage with you while the others are trying to answer that.
Because I heard it was southwest and north, and that's fine.
I think the colleagues call it well, but Mai is saying that Igbo is in the southeast.
And that's correct, Sam. Mainly. Of course, there's always blurring between the lines. It's fluid, but it's mainly the southeast. Yes. And where would you say Fulani might be? C.
Fulani. Okay.
Fulani.
Yeah. We're waiting. I think they all got Igbo and Uruba, right?
Right.
Fulani, let's see who gets it right. As Dean said it, we have actually answered it during the show. But Sylvia, do you have any idea? You have worked in Nigeria.
I so wish I went deep into that because I finished up in Lagos. But yeah, I think more the Igbo, I think.
Which regionally, where is Fulani located? North, south, east, west?
I think southeast. Yeah.
I think it's difficult to locate Fulani geographically.
Mai says it's in the north.
It would be more central and more towards the north. Yes.
Central to the north. So Leborang and Tosi and Mai got it.
And the last one, Hausa.
Hausa.
More easily defined geographically. This one is more easily defined geographically.
Because they are the Steve did share that they are the Islamic impacted.
That's right.
Ethnic group.
And Islam came from the north, so the Hausa group is mainly in the north.
Steve, am I right to say that often when there's a new Nigerian president, the common discussion among Nigerians is whether he or she is from the north or the south? Am I right, Steve?
You are very right, because Nigeria was put together on a north and south basis. Nigeria came about with amalgamation of the north and the south.
Yeah.
So that is why there's always that talk of north and south.
So it's almost like, the two pulling forces.
Yeah.
Was that the reason why Abuja had to be made in the north as the head office, as the capital, not Lagos?
No, Lagos was the capital until in the mid-70s. But Lagos had become too congested and too much difficult to operate from. That was why Abuja was built as a complete fresh city from ground up to be capital.
We're getting feedback from you, Sylvia. I don't know whether there's a noise coming through. I don't know what it is. Can you hear?
Yes. I'm on load shedding, so I'm connected on my router here. So I think
Okay, I'm gonna mute you.
I think do that.
If we want you to talk, we'll unmute you. Yeah. So Hausa is in the north. Yeah, and then thank you so much, Steve, for that explanation. Yes, Dean?
Yes, it's interesting that you mentioned north-south, because most cultures have a north-south divide. If you think about even in the U.S., there's significantly different culture in the south than from the north. In China, there's northern Chinese, southern Chinese, two very different kinds of cultures. This north-south divide is very common in many, many cultures. There's also east and west, very, very common. So I think it's a condition of geography, yes, but it's more north and south than it is east and west, because climate changes north-south, but it doesn't change so much east and west.
I have a follow-up question, Dean, to Steve. We have these four main groups, but Steve shared with us that there's more than 200 ethnic groups. Which of the four has more sub-ethnic groups, if I may use that? I know sub might be undermining the others, but where are most of them falling under? Or they are just these top four and the others are also independent, not belonging the four?
No, you see, we have to be careful. The Fulanis are actually a minority group.
Mm-hmm.
They came out from the Futajalon area of Senegal, Sierra Leone. And then the Hausas were occupying much of the north. And the Fulanis, through jihad, conquered them in the 1800s. That's how Fulanis came in as a minority, became politically strong. There are still about 2 million people. There are very few people. But the Kanuris is also a major group that is to the northeastern part of Nigeria. And they saw Islam and went to Mecca centuries before the Fulanis came to Nigeria. So Fulanis just happened to be strong politically, and the British supported them and made them stronger. And this is why that's why they usually say Hausa Fulani. They don't call Fulani separate. Because Fulanis is too small to be regarded as a major tribe.
And yet very politically influential because of the colonial experience. That's right.
Yes. And their language is spoken only by, it's not a common language, just by that, the very group. But they all speak Hausa too. The Hausas are spread across Central West Africa from Nigeria up to Mali. So it's a large group.
Interesting. But did you say, Steve, that the Hausas tend to, these days, they are able to settle in the south and vice versa in terms of the south base settling in the north?
You know, the Hausas have been major trans-Sahara traders. So they are very commercially engaged. I can live in any part of the country comfortably. But just that they lost political power to the minority Fulanis. Because minority Fulanis told them they are bringing Islam and conquered them with the jihad. So, but the bulk of the Hausas are still traditionalists, traditional African religion.
Beautiful. Thank you, Steve. Over to you, Dean.
Okay. So we have question number 2. And question number 2 is the word dash refers to, and I'll give you the 4 possible answers. A, the daily commute between home and work in Lagos. B, the exam that all Nigerian students must take in order to graduate high school in Nigeria. C, the systemic official or unofficial tip that is paid in order for someone to do a service for you. Or D, the delicious Nigerian root vegetable that is part of most meals.
I'm sure Sylvia will get this one.
Yeah. So dash is the word, and dash somebody, to dash something, it refers to the daily commute, the exam for Nigerian students, the official or unofficial tip that is paid, or the delicious Nigerian root vegetable. A, B, C, or D. What's your answer?
Sylvia? Oh, Sylvia has answered. She says C.
The systemic official or unofficial tip that is paid in order for someone to do a service for you. And this goes back.
is also saying so. France says B.
Yeah, no, the answer is C. It is the official or unofficial tip. It goes to what Steve was talking about before with gift giving. It is something that is very, very common for holidays, for paying employees for their good work, and also for getting things done. And sometimes this can become very confusing because some people who are unfamiliar with the dash see it as a bribe or something that is wrong, something that is corrupt. And sometimes it can be. But most of the time, it's to thank someone for something that they have done for you. And when somebody gives you a gift, if it's a gift and not something that they have to do in order to do their normal work, uh, then you are obligated. If you get a gift, and then, as Steve mentioned, you are obligated to give a gift back as well. Very important. And the gift has to be commensurate with the status of the individual, or else it's an insult. So someone who has higher status needs to get a better gift. And now it is sometimes difficult, it's true, to decide, am I giving somebody a gift for them to do something that they should do in their normal course of work anyway? Because if I do that, that's kind of a bribe, and that's corrupt. But that is not uncommon as well. So what we like to say is, if you're unsure, speak with somebody who can tell you the best way to proceed. Someone who's local who can give you best advice. But it is very common, and it is referred to as the dash.
And then is it equivalent to tip? The colleagues are asking. Is it a tip?
It is a tip. You mean a percentage of a price, like 5% or 10%? I would say that in this case, you have to consider more than the percentage. You have to consider the status and the rank and the hierarchy of the individual, because it does need to be highly valued. It can sometimes be an expensive gift if you are giving it to someone who is of high status. Yeah. So, and that could be more than 5% or 10%.
And might say that that is sometimes also what you pay at the roadblocks, regardless of your innocence.
Yes, sometimes it works that way too, and that's where it becomes difficult, because why should we be paying somebody to do something that they should be doing as their normal work anyway? But it is very common. And so, this is, however we choose to judge this, the truth is that we will encounter it. And so we have to plan to respond in the way that works best for all of us.
Sylvia said that I had a self-appointed security at the airport, and then as I leave the airport, she asked me for a dash, but was adamant that the dollar was too little.
That's right. And
Steve, any comment on these remarks? I mean, on this point, on this concept? Isn't it?
Yeah, see, I was happy when Dean put it at first. I say dash and then tip. You see, this is where issues which are regularly a good practice get into abuse. Now, we expect that if someone does something nice for you, just like the average American, you expect when you go to a restaurant, you're going to leave a tip. Now, a tip in America could be structured in a high-level restaurant or hotel based on percentage, and it becomes part of the pay for the stewardesses and everything at the end of the month. It's even automatically added to your bill. But Dash, as it is used in Nigeria, it all started from the issue of showing appreciation. So, and it was not supposed to be something more than a little stipend. You know, you done something nice for me. I have some change on my head. Maybe it's a coin, maybe it's a 1 naira, 10 naira. I give it to you. I say, have this. And say, thank you, sir.
And it's supposed to be
voluntarily, right? It's free giving.
Voluntarily.
But along the line, it started getting abused, where it became expectation. So you see the folks at the airport, they are doing their regular job. Why would they expect you to give them a dash? But the ones that, what I would say, don't have any sense of pride, those are the ones that will openly say to you, give me dash. Others will never say it because it's demeaning. When you ask directly, give me dash, you're demeaning yourself as a person. You have to allow the individual of their own free will to say, thank you, I appreciate what you have done for me, take this tip. So those are not based on percentage or anything. And that's part of our culture.
That's right.
But
and I like the way Steve said.
It should not be expected and it should not be demanded. So when someone refers to roadblock, when I was younger, you wouldn't see a police officer on the road doing some checks would expect you to demand any. Even if you have to, it must be done so discreetly because it's disgraceful. But now we have got to the stage that not only do they even demand, they will, if you don't have enough, they can make, break it and exchange, do change for you. But if they are caught, they get discipline, serious discipline. But it is part of a culture that will never go away.
Beautiful. Thanks for that clarification, Steve. That really helps. Yeah, we're learning a lot here. Yeah. Dean?
Okay, we're up to question number 3, and I'll read the question and then give you the 4 possible answers. Question. You see your Nigerian colleague across the street. She sees you and she raises her hand as if to wave goodbye. But she just saw you, so why is she waving goodbye? A. She is not, in fact, waving goodbye. She is, in fact, summoning you to come over to her. B. She is gesturing that she is glad to see you, but very busy right now, and she will try to contact you later. C. She is gesturing that she is embarrassed to have encountered you unexpectedly on the street, and you should simply return the gesture. Or D. She is gesturing that she will be crossing the street to greet you in a few moments. Please wait. So she raises her hand as if to wave goodbye, but she just saw you. So why is she waving goodbye? A, she is not waving goodbye. She is summoning you over. B, she's gesturing she's glad to see you, but will contact you later. C, she is embarrassed to have encountered you, and you should return the gesture. Or D, she is gesturing that she will be crossing the street to greet you in a few moments. Please wait.
Mm. Yeah.
A, B, C, or D.
The first attempt is B from Sylvia.
Sylvia says she is gesturing that she is glad to see you, but very busy right now and will contact you later.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have any other answers?
Louisa is also with B.
Yep.
From Leborang as well, B. I think the popular choice is B. Also from Franz Ramuk.
And the correct answer should not always be the popular choice. The answer is A. She is not, in fact, waving goodbye. She is, in fact, summoning you to come over to her. Sometimes when we wave our hands up and down as if to say goodbye, it can have different meanings in different cultures. And in this case, when you raise your hand, she sees you and raises her hand, and she's calling you over to come over and say hello. So the answer is A.
Mm.
Careful with gestures, because gestures have different meanings in different cultures.
Mm.
Okay, question number 4.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Because that is, I don't know. I'm sure even if I answer that question, I'll get it wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not a yes and no question. It depends on the signal or the shape of the hand.
That's correct. Yes.
Let me show you when I arrived in the US for the first time. When somebody wants to say hello to me from a distance, the way the fingers are done is like come. Like he's asking me to come to him or her.
Mm.
But we don't do that in Nigeria. Because when you do your finger close up and close up, in and out, you're actually telling the person, come. But in the US, that was a greeting to say, how are you? But then, as we are saying this in Nigeria now, I think the typical person in Nigeria, I want to tell you, come. The first design is to shout, say, come. Along with a gesture of the hand that tells you, I'm actually saying, come.
That makes it easy.
They will verbalize it, come.
Right.
Mm-hmm. If they are telling you bye-bye, it's straight the typical across the globe bye-bye.
Mm.
So the question, I would say, doesn't really have a yes or no, but then I think each person will interpret it the way they understand it.
Mm.
If we're lucky, Steve, we get that person vocalizing also to come over. That makes things easier for sure.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Question number 4. You have made your best and fairest price offer at the negotiation table. So you are negotiating with your Nigerian colleagues, and you make best and fairest price offer, with whom you have built what you thought was a very trusting personal relationship. But your Nigerian colleague responds by acting insulted and countering with a price that is less than half of what you offered. A, you should have set your price at more than twice what you were actually willing to settle for, because Nigerians are known for hard bargaining. B, you should not have made the first offer without hearing first from the Nigerian team about what they were willing to pay. C, you should always go into a Nigerian negotiation with bargaining chips that can enhance the deal based on their needs beyond what the Nigerians expect. Or D, all of the above. So you're at a negotiation and you have a good trusting relationship, but your Nigerian colleague acts insulted at your price and offers a price that is less than half of what you stated. A, you should have set your price more than twice what you really wanted. B, you shouldn't have made the first offer without listening to what they were willing to pay. C, you should always go into a negotiation with bargaining chips that can enhance the deal and give the Nigerians more than what they expect. Or D, all of the above.
Mm. Let's see what comes out. They're still applying their mind, Dean.
I think so. I think so.
We have 5 minutes to go. Sylvia says it's C, all of the above. Oh, no, sorry. You should always go into that with the bargain in mind. Luisa says D. Mai says B. France says C. Tosi says C. Popular choice up to so far is C.
Yeah, and C is correct, but B is correct and A is correct also. So the correct answer is D, all of the above.
They're all about bargaining, right? They're all about readiness for, yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
So it's all of the above.
All of the above is correct, yes.
Uh,
Okay, and do we have time for the last question, Sam?
It's quite tight. Let's rush through it.
Okay. You invite your Nigerian colleagues and their team to a private party on Thursday night. But when the night arrives, only a handful of people actually arrive. A, many Nigerians are practicing Muslims, and the Muslim Sabbath begins Thursday night. B, most Nigerians will wait for instructions from their superior as to whether or not they are expected to attend the party. C, if single women are on the team, unmarried women, they would likely not be comfortable at a social event with men and would be expected to be at home with their family. Or D, all of the above.
Interesting one. 3 minutes, colleagues. If we can rush it, that would be helpful because it's quite a very interesting question. Yeah, looks like it's a challenge. Sylvia says A. Many Nigerians are practicing Muslims, and the Muslim Sabbath begins Thursday night. This sounds very familiar, Tim.
Yeah.
And then my says C. Franz Ramutla says A. So popular choice A.
Yes, and A is correct, and B is correct, and C is correct. So D is the answer.
But I would say that none of the above.
Is it? Steve?
The majority of Nigerians are not Muslim.
Wow.
Then 2, Nigerians don't hurry to a party because they don't want to be the first one there.
Wow.
They would rather come a little bit late but stay long.
Mm.
And whether you're single or not does not determine your decision to go to a function.
Unless, of course, they were Muslim.
Come back again?
Unless the women were Muslim, then it might be a serious
No,
consideration.
Muslim party as much as non-Christians.
Yeah, but not on Thursday night.
Thursday night doesn't make a thing. They party on Fridays.
Mm. Wow.
Yeah.
After work, after the mosque, they go to party.
Didn't you have a contestation there? I think
well,
you and
no,
Steve.
but that's because Friday night the Sabbath is over.
You see, there's the northern Muslim and southern Muslim.
Mm.
The southern Muslim are very sociable and party like Christians.
Wow.
The northern Muslims are more restricted.
That is true. There
But
are variations.
Otherwise, the population of Muslims and Christians in Nigeria, Muslims are not as many as the Christians.
Wow.
And also we have a lot of people who are also neither Christian nor Muslim.
Mm. Wow. Beautiful. Anyway, in any event, I think what we are communicating here just shows you how dynamic and how things can shift. And also, I can imagine is also depending on the perspective of whoever was giving that information. And that makes me to be so anxious for South Africa, Dean, in February. I'm nervous, actually. Because where do you start with South Africa? Steve has done extremely very well. I wouldn't be able to explain the South African culture the way Steve has explained Nigerian culture. And that comes in February, colleagues. We're going to talk about South African culture. Interesting questions. Thank you, Dean. That's Franz Ramudla.
Thank you, Franz.
The main objective is that we learn to be conscious about the culture and we debate and discuss about these things. And I think we've been blessed, Dean, to have had Steve with us because I think he has really made our conversation much more real and closer home.
Yes, it was great to have you, Steve, and thanks for your perspective because also for all of the experience that you've had working with expats and non-Nigerians in your country.
Beautiful, beautiful. Wow, Dean, I guess at this point, sorry, colleagues, I guess Steve and Dean at this point, I know it's still early, but I must wish you a very good festive season. We're coming back in February next year. But before we all go, tomorrow we are doing the Valley University of Technology Work Integrated Learning Conversation. If you can join us, please join. But otherwise, thank you so much. Thank you, colleagues that participated in the quiz. We always learn, and it's never enough. I don't think it'd never be enough to cover a culture of a country to finish. We can only continue learning.
Yes, always just the beginning of the conversation.
Indeed. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dean.
Steve, thank you so much. It was a wonderful reunion with you. I appreciate for your contribution. Thank you, colleagues. We'll make the
always my pleasure.
Thank you, everyone. Have a happy festive season.